I started playing the guitar at 14. Like if I heard a Van Halen lick I wanted to learn, I'd put my thumb on the album and try to slow the album down a little bit. Learning the theoretical part of it kind of unlocks your voice on the instrument, you know. I think the coolest part is being able to show a student how to play a piece or give them a piece of musical advice. My heroes, mom and dad. You know, if you're looking for motivation anywhere else, it has to come from you. You have to decide to do it every day.
Welcome back to this podcast, Expresso con Careca, and today we have a guest that it's very, very music orientated, and his name is.
Oh, I'm Jason.
Jason, our good friend Jason. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me out.
It's a pleasure to have you. You know, we've been trying to get you in here for what, at least
a couple months.
Yeah, a month, yeah. And I know that you drove a long way to come here to come to this podcast, but it's a very, very honor to have you here to talk about music.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm originally from Kentucky. Grew up. Mom and dad are both musicians. I think they felt like if they kept enough musical instruments around the house, I would trip over one, and that's what happened. My grandmother plays piano. My mom and dad both been really musical. You know, it's just it's one of those things that you get a lot more from your parents than what you think you get. Okay. You know, when you're growing up. I mean, especially with the musical influence, there was always music being played in the house. Either albums. Do you remember albums?
Yes.
You remember albums?
I definitely remember that.
And there were a lot of a lot of really cool, different artists always played in the house. Everything from, you know, Prince and Michael Jackson to country to bluegrass to pop.
And this is you started being music orientated at what age?
I always had a awareness of music and what I liked musically and what I thought was cool. But, you know, early age, I mean, you're talking about, I didn't play anything at the time, didn't play music, but listening, I was an active listener, you know, 5, 6.
Wow, that was very, very young.
I mean, I remember MTV, I remember, you know, you sitting in front of
MTV. Who doesn't remember that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just remember the main things I remember very vividly. I remember the Van Halen Jump video.
Okay.
You know, that whole
yes
album and Push, you know, the Thriller video and the John Landis doing the American Werewolf in London Thriller video.
Yeah, that was very, very cool. Very
groundbreaking at the time. Remember just stuff like that. And you know, this was early. This is, you know, 5, 6, 7. I remember, you know, when they would replay the Frank Zappa Halloween special that they would do on every Halloween. Frank Zappa did a Halloween special on MTV.
Right.
It was cool. And like I said, that I had a lot of weird influences. You're wearing a Beatles shirt. My uncle was the largest Beatle fan, and he has all their original albums. And he was a Frank Zappa fan, so I kind of got that influence. He's a musician as well. He was he played in a lot of bands in the 80s, you know.
So this music comes from years back. Not only your parents, your grandparents, maybe or grandparents.
I don't it's really weird because I on my grandmother's side, on my father's grandmother's side, I knew my great grandmother, you know, when I was younger,
right?
And I knew on my grandfather's, still my father's side, my great grandfather. Neither one of them were musical. My great grandfather on my grandfather's father on my dad's side was a farmer.
Right.
I mean, I think my grandfather was the first person to graduate high school.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and then my grandmother, her mother, on my dad's side. She played piano, and I know my great grandmother did as well, because we had her piano in the house, because after she passed, we eventually wound up moving into her house.
Okay.
So, and that's in a small town in Kentucky. It's called Danville, Kentucky. It's about 40 miles west of Lexington. Yeah, of Lexington, Kentucky, which would be the metropolis center.
So I know, because I've seen you play, and I got to confess, this is a confession. When I started to talk to Jason the first time, he told me about all this music thing, the guitar and everything. And at the same time, I was like, oh, well, I'd never seen him play or anything like that. So I was kind of sinking it in. But one event, right? You played. I saw you play. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this guy really knows how to play. When did you start playing the guitar?
I started playing the guitar at 14.
At 14?
Right around 14. I mean, and funny is I teach children now. I teach children and adolescent teens, and they are far beyond what I ever was at that age.
Right.
They just have the material. There's so many great learning material. There's so much great learning material out there for young musicians now.
Mm-hmm.
You can get on YouTube. By the way, you can slow YouTube down. I didn't know this until I started teaching with YouTube. I didn't know you could slow YouTube down. It's like everybody's learning these complicated licks, and I'm like, how did you do that? Oh, I just slowed it down half speed. I'm like, you can do that? I didn't know you could do that. My goodness. So I was like, if I had that when I was 14, I mean,
we didn't have any of that.
No, I used to when you would use the record player, I would put my thumb, like if I heard a Van Halen lick I wanted to learn, I'd put my thumb on the album and try to slow the album down a little bit, and it would change the pitch
right
a little bit because you're slowing it down, you know. And you put your thumb on the album and slow the album down enough to where you kind of, and you do it with one hand and you have your guitar in this hand. You're trying to find the first note. Okay, if I find the first note, I can find the second note. It's a connect the dots method of learning, you know. And
yeah, because now you have YouTube, and you have Eddie uses this Ultimate Guitar, I think it is.
Yeah, Ultimate Guitar.
Yeah, he uses that a lot, and I sometimes I'm up here doing my thing, trying to think on what to record or what comes next in the podcast. And Eddie, he's in the first floor from the studio. And I sometimes I hear him trying to come up with a riff.
Yeah. And
he has a very, very good ear. So I imagine that at your age you had that good ear because you were doing it with the vinyl, basically.
Yeah,
right?
you're trying to do the vinyl, and you have and there's so many. Oh man, I just remember they would sell, like, we had to wait. You had to wait every month. You had to wait every month to get the new Guitar Player magazine.
Yeah,
you had to wait. You had to wait every month to get the new Guitar Player magazine, or the Guitar for the Practicing Musician, or you had to get one of these magazines that would have the sheet music and have the tablature in them. So if you're lucky, some of them did.
Right.
But you had to actually, you look through it and so you found the sheet music to the song. Okay, now I got to go get a book to learn how to read the sheet music to the song.
Right.
And then they started coming out with like the first bit of tablature. Well, then those magazines, there was a little article, or not an article, there's a little ad in the back of them when you open them up. And they had these little cassette players. And they were like $600 back in the 80s.
$600.
And you put the cassette in and you could slow the cassette down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot what they were called, but they had, things like that. And I'm sitting over here, putting my thumb on the album. So so it was always a learning experience. And you would always feel very vindicated when you could figure out 3 notes. You figure out 3 notes. It's okay. So if those are those 3 notes, and and this is before you really start learning how music moves. Right. Because there's a certain way music moves. That's where the theoretical part of the music comes in. You teach a lot of songs, but you also teach a lot of theory, because if I say, hey, if you notice this song has this, this, and this, and you look over at this song and it has these same three things, those are very similar, right? So they have to be in structure similar. So you're looking for patterns, and you're looking for patterns, and you're looking for, and not just visually, but by your ear. Talking about having a good ear, like I'm listening for that pattern. Okay, well, if that pattern's the same pattern, but it's a little bit higher, and it just moves up in the scale, or you're just looking for these type of these markers, if you will,
right,
to figure out something.
So, besides having talent, right, in any instrument, in this case, we're talking about the guitar. Besides having the talent to play the guitar, the other part of music is what you're saying, that you have to know all these theories and all this stuff.
Well, it just helps. I think it helps because it helps you figure out other things. It also unlocks, learning the theoretical part of it kind of unlocks your voice on the instrument, If you have this one thing that you play and it sounds good to your ear, but you really don't know what you're playing, it might be a good idea to kind of dig in or ask someone to help you figure out what you're playing.
Okay.
That way you can apply that information to doing something else, or I think good example is when Eddie Van Halen was doing the finger tapping on the fretboard, when he was doing the right hand, what's called right hand hammer-ons.
Okay.
So if you listen to it closely, it's the same thing he was doing on piano.
Was it?
But he's doing it vertically on the neck.
The guitar, yeah.
Yeah, they're little broken up chords or arpeggios, right? So these arpeggios that you'd be playing here that are these notes. Well, if I'm playing 4 notes here, and I put them on the neck, I'm playing the same 4 notes.
Right.
Yeah. So he's pretty much turned his guitar into a piano.
Yeah, but for something like that, like if you tell that to a guy like me, I'll be like, right, because I love music. And Eddie's my witness. He knows I truly love music. I wish I would have been a singer, if you ask me, but I can't even sing in the shower. But when I see musicians, in this case Eddie, because I see him every day, and I see him do his thing, I'm like, how the hell do you guys do that?
I think there's two schools of thought when I listen to music, and I had to really put forth an effort to do this. I've seen in the past month, I've seen 3 or 4 really good shows, like music, like live music, going out and seeing live music. And there's certain things where, like, I know I was with my girlfriend and her sister and her husband,
right?
And we went to see the band Camino.
Okay.
And everybody's asking, is Jason okay? Because I'm just sitting there, because I'm dissecting things. I'm looking at him, I'm watching him play, and I'm listening to the music, and I'm consuming it a little bit different than the average fan would. Mm-hmm. And I have to stop and remind myself, it's okay just to let this wash over you. Mm-hmm. Just listen to the music as music, and not try to dissect it, and not try to think too hard about it, because I'm not going to go home and learn a whole bunch of Band Camino songs just for the sure shakes of it. But it's good to acknowledge what they're doing, because they're putting out really good music.
Right.
I went and saw Steve Morris, a great, phenomenal guitar god. And of course, 90% of the people in there were guitar players. Watch him, and they're all sitting there and they're just dissecting what he's doing and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you know what? I went through my Steve Morris phase of playing and doing the fast stuff. I'm just like, I could just sit back and enjoy it.
Right.
And and you have to detach yourself sometimes. It's like, you're not going out there for homework. You're going out there to enjoy
and relax and have fun.
Relax.
But does that happen indirectly? Like, kind of like you're enjoying it, and then suddenly you're like, wait a minute, how do you do that?
I think it's funny that I have a student now that brought this to my attention after our lesson the other day. he says, after I've learned some of this stuff that we've been talking about, when I hear music, I just hear the progressions. It's like beyond just hearing a wall of sound. I think, and your audience, you probably have some guitar players out there, you have some musicians out there. There's a moment in your life when you've started to play an instrument that your ear picks up music differently. Like before I started playing guitar, or before I started playing any instrument or really paying attention to it, when I listened to music, I would hear a wall sound. After I started playing a musical instrument, I started hearing pieces of that wall of sound. Oh, that's what the guitar is doing. That's what the bass is doing. Oh, did you hear the drums do that? You start picking these little things out. Your ear, it's like what's one of the posters that if you look deep enough, there's an image within the image. Mm-hmm. It's like that, and you're looking at this image, but there's something embedded in the image.
Right.
That's another image.
Right, because you're seeing beyond, right?
Yeah.
So now it's funny that you say that, because before it was hard to separate music, right? Now Logic, I think it's called stems. You could separate vocals, guitar, bass, piano, drums. You could separate everything and just listen to that piece, and you're like, wait a minute, if you just listen to this part alone, it's different once you put everything together. I guess, what I would now that I mentioned that, how sometimes people say that there is no I in team, mm-hmm. and there's always a we. I think that this is a good example of how music works as a we, as a team, because one track does not sound the same when all the tracks play together.
Right.
So that's you got me thinking on that, because I work with a lot of teams at work, and now I got a good example.
I think they're called the Magic Eye poster. Those Magic Eye posters. Like, looking at this poster, it's a sailboat. There's a sailboat in there, Like
there is.
There's
Oh, look,
right
there's
there.
a
If you look past it, the Magic Eye poster.
The Magic Eye.
You used to have it on the back of a Lucky Charms box, the Magic Eye.
So besides guitar, what else do you play?
I play bass, and I play mandolin, and I play keyboards as well. I don't really consider myself a keyboard player. I know how to play the keyboard. I know it's sitting right there. All the theoretical stuff that I know mm-hmm. applies right there. I think my hands haven't caught up to where my brain would play. I just don't play it enough. I mean, I can sit here and say, okay, G minor, this is how it's made. This is how this is done. This is a scale, mm-hmm. But I don't sit down at the piano and play. I spend a lot of time working on my strengths, making my strengths stronger.
Right.
Because if you make your strengths stronger, they'll bring up your weaknesses.
Right.
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 Bass, I play bass, and I know I've played bass for a lot of different groups, played mandolin for a lot of people, but I just don't I don't consider myself more than a guitar player. Okay. I mean, I've really
that's your strong.
Oh yeah. My father would tell me, he's like, you should just leave the mandolin in the case. You should be playing guitar all the time.
Well, there's. I mean,
it's a texture thing. It's a texture thing.
It is, because look at Prince.
Yeah,
he would be able to play any instrument, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you can't play them all the time. Yeah. And the thing is, like the give you I know you've seen this on the internet. It's like the Billy Joel song "Piano Man." For a song called "Piano Man," there's an awful lot of harmonica in there.
Yeah.
you know, so I just always consider myself a musician. I'm a guitar player, but really a musician. It's one thing to be a player. You want to be a musician.
Want to be a musician.
You don't want to be a rock star. You want to be a musician. I don't think I'm a rock star either.
Right. Now, do you write music?
Yes, I do.
How does that go?
Lately, so when I'm writing, it's different. A lot of it will be like right now I'm writing for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm writing a bunch of stuff for a purpose, for a later use.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly for a personal band or anything like that. It's like, okay, this would be good in a movie, or this would be good for this.
Okay.
I have a lot of influences that I want to get out, and sometimes you'll write something just to get it out.
Right.
And just get it out of your head. You know, you have a melody or something in your head, and you're like, I want to go get this down so I don't have to think about it again. And once I put it on paper, once I put it out on a like a recorder or something like that I can get it out of my head, and then I can say, okay, that's done. I can move on.
So how true is it that when you feel something or you got something in your head, you have to write it down? Because I've read and I've seen a couple of videos out there in YouTube where if you have a melody, try to play it and record it, because you might forget it. Right?
That's right.
You might forget it, and then and so writing music is not only about writing music; it's about writing lyrics, right?
Yeah, I mean,
do you write lyrics?
I don't. I usually I usually do more instrumental stuff. I have written lyrics before. Mm-hmm. To me, lyric writing is finding a melody line is easy for me. Mm-hmm. Finding a subject I want to put to that melody line is really difficult for me, and I don't know why. I've just never thought of myself as a lyricist. You know, there's certain things I've written down. I have notebooks of stuff I've written down.
So you've written stuff, but you really haven't finished it?
No, I I really like dealing with instrumental stuff.
Okay.
Like where instead of singing a vocal line, you know, it's the guitar singing it for you.
Right.
You know, the guitar is playing that line.
Right.
It's not like we have to go to the store. You know, it's the melody line that the guitar is playing, or the bass is playing, or that something else is playing. I think because that also goes back to my heroes. You know, I grew up. You know, my guys that I grew up listening to and playing or wanting to play like. I wanted to play like Eddie Van Halen. I wanted to play Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. Frank Zappa, Greg Howe. Greg Howe's another one. I've been trying to push on my students like, hey, you need to pick up this book. You know, Greg Howe released a great book for guitarists, and I've been going through it lately. And it's just it's the biggest thing for me with students is helping them become better musicians. It's great if you want to learn Smoke on the Water. Mm-hmm. I think that's a great thing, and but while we're learning that, I want you to learn why Smoke on the Water.
Right.
What makes this cool? What makes this lick cool? What makes this song cool? And then being able to apply that to your own music, right? Just being a great musician. I want them all to be great musicians. So, you want every student to be better than what you are.
And I'm pretty sure that you being a teacher, it makes you feel proud that you see your students that they're learning, they're advancing, they're getting better, because at the end of the day, I mean, you help them in certain way, you know. So that must be something that goes with you all the way, right? Like one of these days, who knows? Maybe you'll see him playing live on TV or in front of thousands of people, and you'll say he was one of my students.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing, but it's also it's the building blocks. Like myself as a teacher, you know, I've played so many different things. I just want to point them in a direction to where they develop their own style.
Right.
I can't take. I can point them in the right direction. I can't take credit for their style.
Right. You could guide them.
I can guide them. Yeah. I look now. Here's what I look in this situation. This is what I do in this situation. This is how I would like it to sound. And then what they get from mimicking me, they take in their own direction. It's not. Right. It's not mine. You know, it's theirs. You know. I think that's the cool part of it. I think the coolest part is being able to show a student how to play a piece or give them a piece of musical advice, and then they take it in their own direction. And it's not yours anymore. It never was mine. I got it from someone else.
Right.
I took it in my own direction.
Right.
And then I show it to a student, and that's really cool. And then they get really good at doing what I showed them. And they're like, if I do this and then I add this or I take away this, then it becomes theirs. Then everyone else wants to learn that thing that they have.
Right. So, and that's how do they say, that's kind of you give them the tools or the piece of advice. I would say, this is how you do this, or this is how you could do this, and then they do it their own way.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's like teaching someone how to paint. If I show you these brush techniques or these brush stroke techniques, I'm not a painter. I don't know. Yeah. I might just be talking out of my tail right now.
It's an example.
But if I start showing you how to paint and how to mix colors and do stuff like this, right? And then you take those techniques and you become the next Rembrandt. Yeah, I showed you how to do that, but you did the art. You did the work. Right. That was that was pulled out from your ears.
Right.
Right. So I feel the same way with music. I mean, I can music. The music knowledge is very, very small if you really think about it. There's 12 notes in music, 7 notes in a major scale, 5 notes in a pentatonic scale. There's only a finite number of progressions that someone can play. There's variations of. How many times you hear a song on the radio? Oh, that sounds like this other song. Yeah. This sounds like that other song. This sounds like that song. So it's what the artist. Those are the colors. Those are the colors you have to paint with. It's no different than Roy G. Biv.
Yeah, blue is blue, white
blue
is
blue.
white.
Yeah, it's like, how are you going to mix these colors together to get? Yeah. I tell all the students I've told Eddie this. Mm-hmm. I've told every guitar player. I said it the other day too. I've told every guitar player I teach. They come in, they want to learn some sort of really bombastic style of something like that, shred or whatever. And I say, hey, all the notes that are on their guitar are on your guitar as well. That's the mental block. That's the block that people have to get away from. All the colors that are in that painting, they're on your palette too.
That's a good way to put that. Because the same thing they had, you have, but put them in the blank canvas. Let's see what you could do.
See what you can do with it. So I can't tell you how many people come to me and say, well, I can't play like that. Mm-hmm. You just don't know how to play like that. You won't play like that if you already think you can't do that, you're not going to be able to do it.
You have to be open-minded.
You have to be open-minded. And there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of. I also compare it to a magician.
Right.
When you come out and you saw me play for the first time, you're like, oh, that guy can really play.
Right.
You saw the prestige. You saw the magic act.
Right.
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 You saw the magician on stage with his assistant. And you saw him cut it in half, or you saw the magician on stage and the bird in the cage, and they took the bird and the bird flew away and all that stuff.
Right.
You saw the prestige. You didn't see all the hours of practice that I put in, or other musicians put in. And lack of a better term, you didn't see all the dead birds in the trash can when they messed that trick up, right?
Right.
You saw the really polished pearls of that, you know. I mean, you look at, you see a diamond in the wild, it's rough.
Right. Well, that's when they say that practice makes master, right? I mean, you can't become a good player if you don't practice.
That's true.
How many hours per day, or how many hours per week do you think that students or guitar players or musicians have to practice every day or a week?
Oh well, I don't think it's a time based thing. I think it's quality over quantity. I think it's quality over quantity. When someone says, "Well, I practice 6 hours a day," what do you practice? You know, and it's different. Like people who are just learning, they'll play. I mean, if the bug has gotten them and the bug bit them, the bug bit me, I'd play 6, 7, 8 hours a day.
Right.
I mean, when I was first coming up, I mean, I was in it. Mm-hmm. As I got better and as I got more refined, my practice techniques got more refined. I may spend 20 minutes working on a vibrato. Just that's how I want. I'm trying to get this to sound the way I want it to sound.
Right.
I may spend an hour on that. Just trying to vibrato, mm-hmm. or my pick technique. Like I want my pick, how I want it angled on the string. How much pick do I want hanging out of my fingertips? How is that going to affect my tone? Because
so all that matters, huh?
To me, it does.
Honestly, I thought you just grabbed the pick and just hit the strings.
Yeah.
But I'm learning something different.
Yeah, you just you have more pick showing out of you have more pick showing out, and it's a different stroke than if you have just a little bit in there. Harmonics are different. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're brushing your thumb against a string, that's creating a harmonic. Mm-hmm. You know, or this hand. What is this hand doing? You know, the articulation of my fingers with chords, right? You can see my fingers where I put a lot of time in this week. You know, uh-huh. working on stuff. But those are the little things. You know, this one note. I can hit this one note. I'd practice dynamics. You know, practice like, okay, I'm pressing the string down here. I'd press it down and I would hit it, right? And I have a note, bing, 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 bing. You know, I'd start gently letting my finger off the string until it thuds, thud. Okay, well, I know that somewhere between pressing it the hardest and pressing it the lightest, there is a perfect note in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that perfect note.
Wow, that kind of sounds like if you have to, it starts in your head, it goes to this hand, and this one, which one's the most important one?
I think they're all equally important. Also, I think that there's never going to be a perfect note. I mean, every note's like a snowflake. Okay. Every time you see a live performance and you hear someone play a note, it's a moving instrument. The strings move, the strings vibrate. You know, maybe your finger was just a little down or a little up, which creates a harmonic, just a very fraction of a pitch, either raising a pitch or lowering pitch. Mm-hmm. It's a living instrument. You know, it's not static. It's a very movable instrument. So every note you play is going to be like Steve Vai said it. Every note you're going to play is going to be like a snowflake. It's going to be different every time. It might, to the audience, it's going to sound perfect. You know, if you're playing it, but it's not perfect. To the person playing it to you, every time I've ever walked off stage, I'm like, God, I could have done that better.
So obviously, that's why they have so many takes when they do a recording, right?
Because, yeah, you're getting
you messed up. You again, and again. But you're right. I mean, Eddie does say that. He's like, whenever they have a performance and he messes up because he's not perfect. He's human.
Yeah.
He messes up and then he after his show he comes out and I messed up. Like, really? I didn't hear anything. Where? Where exactly did you mess up? He knows. I'm pretty sure you know when you mess up.
Yeah.
Musicians know.
I try not to highlight it though.
Yeah. So when so then he comes to me like, yeah, I got this I messed up on the chord, I messed up on this, I messed up on that. And like, if you wouldn't have told me, I would have never known.
Yeah.
That you messed up. I thought it was part of the
prestige.
Exactly. So that's the thing that you guys as musicians, especially when you guys are playing live, you guys have to keep going. Whatever happens,
Yeah.
you guys have to keep going, right?
You keep going. Put a smile on your face.
Yeah, put a smile on your face. Oh, shit.
Yeah. A lot of time, a lot of improvisation comes out of messing up too. When you hear something, oh, that was different than the recording. And then it's it's like you heard a squeal or something, or something that sounded really cool. A lot of times because we're throwing something in there because we messed up, maybe. I don't know.
And I guess when you're playing live, that's the time where you could do something different or whatever, because it's not a recording, it's not an official recording, so I'm pretty sure the composer of the artist or whoever made the song or the writer is not gonna get mad because you did something different live.
Some artistic liberties. I think when you go to see a live show, you go to see live people perform. I don't want to go to a show and hear a bunch of backing tracks where the people may be singing and pantomiming. Yeah. I don't want to see that. I want to hear real musicians play real notes. I think that's why I've been enjoying the teaching part of it so much, because I'm getting to see the kids go out and play. And when you get to see them play, you get to see, oh yeah, we worked on that and we worked on this, and here they are performing this, and it sounds great. It's always nice to. I don't want to go to a show and see the album that I can listen to at the house.
Okay, you want them to make it their song, the same song.
Yeah,
but there's their way.
I want it to be a performance, not just on a song and dance level. A musical performance. You pull up any videos of the. And this is making me sound old here. You pull up all those. You pull up any of those bands of the 70s. You get Queen, or you have Van Halen, or you have those bands, and all the way up to the MTV era or anybody like that. They come out and they put on a show. I do have to say, the band Camino put on a really nice show. They put on a really nice show, and they played their parts. It sounded like the only thing they had on tracks were like weird, funky intros or keyboards or something like that. I don't care about that. If you're playing with it, or if you're on the album and you played with the orchestra and you can't hire a 90-piece orchestra, by all means play the track. But I want to hear real drums. I want to hear real guitars and real bass and real singing. I don't want to hear canned vocals. And that happens a lot in today's industry.
But I guess. When you go live, and you do find that the bands start to play, I'll give you an example, a Prince song, for example, or when Prince recorded Purple Rain. Let's go with that. When Prince recorded Purple Rain, right? I know that the intro they played like for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that, and they actually use some of that intro in the actual recording. So it's cool things that happen as a musician. And like you were saying that, you hear the record, he plays for a little bit, but in the day that he played it, it was like a 10-minute intro.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
We need to cut this down to 3 minutes for the radio. 3 minutes and 30 seconds for the radio.
Yes, it is. The song is what, like 7 minutes long.
Oh,
right?
It was deep. I remember when that, when that kind of hit the airwaves. I remember when that was. They played Rep Arena that year. They played in Kentucky, and my aunt was living with us at the time, and she got to go see Prince. And
that's nice.
We were all kind of jealous about that.
Man, I wish I was when he came out and he was famous and he was playing when he was real famous.
Yeah.
When Michael Jackson was around and everything. So, I was probably like, I'm gonna say 8 or 10 years old, somewhere around there, when he was playing all this music. And obviously, there was no way my aunts were gonna take me to a concert of him, but I wish I at that in the 80s I would have been able to go to a real concert where he played live at that level when he was barely arising like that, because later he like when he did the Super Bowl halftime show. That was way later.
One of the most memorable halftime shows of all time.
Yeah, that was way later. And he always had that thing. You could when he played the guitar, you could see him like kind of enjoying it. Like, it didn't matter how many times he played it; he really enjoyed it.
I think there's something to be said about the having the being infectious when you're playing. When I play guitar, and I'm playing to a group of people, I want to make everyone. I want to shrink the room. Pretty much, that's the best way I can describe it. Is shrinking the room. Okay. I want to shrink the room where you feel like I'm playing to you, like we're sitting in this setting right here. That every note that I play, you feel like the audience member. Every audience member feels like I played it to them.
Right.
That's shrinking the room. That is taking a group of people and you focusing, and everybody thinks you're playing to them. That's a skill in its own. I mean, I don't know if I've achieved that, right. But I think as a musician, that's what you should try to achieve. There's a lot of singers and songwriters that can do that. James Taylor comes to mind, or right. No matter how big the room is. James Taylor has a brother named Livingston Taylor who teaches at Berklee School of Music, and I had a friend. I still have a friend. I have a couple friends have seen him, but I have a friend that has seen him. My buddy's name's Owen, and Owen's like, Jason, he shrank the room. I mean, he made it feel like he had his guitar sitting here, and you're sitting right there, and you're just like in his living room. Wow. Maybe 6,000, 7,000 people there, and he shrank the room.
Well, that's amazing. That's. I guess that's when you get people into it, right?
Yeah.
You're doing an amazing job. People get into it, and that's when the room shrinks.
Yeah.
What else do you do, Jason? I mean, how would you motivate today's youth to do what they need to do in music? What's your advice?
They have to want it. They have to want to play, like especially in music. They have to want it. You have to, anything you want to be good or efficient doing, you have to do it. There's nothing. Everything I've ever done that I've ever liked, I've jumped in with both feet. I mean, I've wanted to be the best at doing it. There's no need in doing it if you don't want to be the best doing it, right? Played football growing up. I liked football. I loved basketball, right? Loved basketball. Started playing piano. Didn't like piano. But when I started playing guitar, I'm like, oh, this is my thing. I can do this, right? So, I think that they tend to gravitate what they really like, but if they really want to be great at it, they have to want to be great at it. And they're not doing it because they might be rich and famous, or not play basketball because you might play in the NBA or something like that. Just, if you want to be good at something, you have to do it consistently. Consistency is the key, You
control that.
Yes.
As
you decide whether you're going to pick up your instrument every day and play. You decide whether you're going to go outside and shoot 100 jumpers a day. Yeah. Those are your, or do you want to go play video games? Which is fine. You could be great at video games. You might be the best, King of Kong. You might have a fistful of quarters, and I don't know about it. Right?
So if you're going to try something, you always have to try to be the best at whatever you want to try to be.
I do. I want to be really good at something. I know I'm going to. The one thing about being really good about something is people don't see all the times you failed doing something. And I've done that a lot where I just wasn't, my playing wasn't what I wanted it to be, so I sat down and worked on it. Oh, that could have been a lot better. So I sat down and worked on it. But, you don't have to tell someone that. They have that instinctively inside them. Like, I got to get better at that. I'm going to get better at that. And they sit down and they do it.
Right.
A computer programmer, ones and zeros. They're sitting there. I need to make this better. I need to do this better. I need to, whatever you're gonna do. I mean,
Yeah, one of my cousins, he actually we made a remote podcast for this podcast. He said that somebody told him that if you're gonna fail fast, so you could move on to the next. You know,
that's good advice. I can understand that.
Yeah. So that's what they told him. That's what he told me. That's what he told us. So
for everything that someone tells me I'm really good at, there's probably 7 things I really suck at. I mean, there really is. I mean, it's like
there's no perfection.
Man, I tell you what, man. Just anything. I was like, there's certain things that you just, you try because you want to see if you like it. Right. You try if you want to see if you like it. Soccer, I sucked at soccer. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of running. You got to kick a ball. Right. I sucked at it. I really did.
So that was not your thing.
That was not my thing.
Sports wasn't your thing at all?
No. I played sports. I played a lot of sports. I played basketball.
But not soccer.
Yeah. Soccer wasn't one of them. No. And plus, Kentucky, I grew up in a basketball state,
Right.
I played basketball, football,
And you have the height.
You're
a pretty tall guy. Not like me. I'm too small. I wish I had your height, but but going back to the music thing is, if you really want to like get good at it, how many practices do you think they should do? I mean,
as many as you can. I mean, you got, like I said, that question is nullified as soon as someone loves what they do. Like I have a student right now. He's 9, mm-hmm. and every week he comes in and impresses me. I said, it starts off with, "Hey, I need you to tune your guitar every time you pick it up. Every time you pick it up, tune it. Don't just wail away on it out of tune. I want you to, because it gets ingrained in their brain that, that's what an in tune instrument sounds like.
Right.
And then they come back, and he's like, I can play Smoke on the Water. Okay, well, show me. And then he'll tune his guitar first. So now he knows he needs to have his guitar in tune. Then he plays Smoke on the Water. And I was like, that's great. That's great. And he's making chords. He's doing chords. He's doing a thing. I don't have to tell him, if you want to be good at this, little Bobby, little Susie, you got to play. He's not doing it to get good at it. He's doing it because he loves to do it. And in turn, he's going to be.
Now that's key.
Yeah.
You're doing it because you love to
do it.
Not because they're forcing you to do it.
Right.
Because we went to this one, it was like a how am I gonna say, somebody came from, he was a drummer, mm-hmm. And we went to his class, and one of the mother's parents asked the drummer, what do you recommend or suggest to make my son play more? And then he's like, what do you mean? Well, he doesn't want to play. Well, he doesn't want to play.
He didn't want to play.
You don't want to play. You can't force him.
You just answered your own question.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we can sit here and we talk about philosophical things all day when it comes to getting someone. If someone doesn't want to do it, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You make a choice. That's the choice you make. And then my thing was, I love to play. I love to play. I love to teach. I love when people see me play.
I know. I could tell.
I love when people see me play.
Right. So what do you learn when you teach?
That's a good question. That's a great question. You learn a lot about things there's two exchanges that happen when you teach. You learn what you should do or could do, and you learn what you shouldn't do. Right?
Right.
So I've had students who come in that they'll have a good technique, right? But they don't want to learn what you're trying to show them. Mm-hmm. I might not be the teacher for you, right? I learned very quickly on how to not weed out those students, because you don't want to weed them out, but you've learned very quickly about what works as a teaching method. what do I need to present to you to get you past this roadblock?
Right.
That's the main thing. And I've also learned while I've been teaching is I don't want to hold on to a student forever. Most teachers, they want to hold on to a student because that's where the money is. You know, you have a student, you have the money. I don't want to. I want to get you to a point where you feel like you don't need me anymore.
Right.
That's the goal. I've learned that throughout the years because I noticed that I've had so many people like, I'm taking lessons over at the local guitar shop. I'm like, okay, well, I want to learn how to play lead, and they're not showing me how to play lead. I said, well, then they don't know how to teach you how to play lead. But if you want to learn how to play lead, come on over for an afternoon. I'll just show you. You know?
Right. Well, I guess that applies to not only guitars, that applies to everything, right? Every instrument,
right?
In music.
You know, I have come to find that too. Whenever another, and this didn't happen where I am now, but when I growing up in Lexington, I had a 3x5 note card written with everything I wanted to learn on it. I'd never taken a lesson. I'd never taken one lesson. I got to college, and I had a lesson with a guy who was a guitar player for Confederate Railroad.
Oh, look at that.
And I took it to him. I'm like, okay, his name was Michael at the time. And I handed him the note card, and it had everything I said, reading music and this and this and this. And every teacher ever handed that card to me and said, well, I can teach you maybe this and maybe this, but I can really teach you. And they would try to play something. I said, well, that's not what I need to know. I know how to play that. I know how to do that. I need to know how to apply these things, right? I had a really good understanding of what I wanted to learn. And you get that after beating your head against the wall, not getting, your plateaus. You hit your plateaus, and you're beating your head against the wall. Like, man, how do I get over this? How do I get past this? How do I, And then you realize, how do I learn how to play like that guy? And someone's like, well, no, I can't teach you how to do that. Well, he obviously knows how, Right. So, if he knows how to play like that, it's possible to play like that. So how do I get that knowledge to play like that?
Right.
And maybe you get that knowledge and you go and you learn how to play some of that stuff, and you're like, okay, that was cool. I need to move on now.
Right.
You get those pretty quickly. And I get a lot of students who are what I call the flavor of the week. They heard the song. They want to learn how to play this style. And then when they realize it's going to take more work than more work than a
practice.
Yeah. Practice that it's going to take, they kind of abandon that idea and they go another route, which I think.
So they should stick to something so they could.
I think if you really like playing, like Eddie loves playing. There's so many times where I'm just sitting, warming up in a practice room, and Eddie will come to me and say, "Hey, can you show me something?" That guy wants to learn, and that's the type of student that wants to learn. I think if you find out, if you find a certain way that you want to sound like, you have an idea in your head. This is more intermediate to advanced players. You have an idea of what you want to sound like in your head, right. And then you're like, okay, I need to talk to someone about how to get that way. Right. This goes beyond gear. All the stuff we're talking, and I want to let your viewers know. This goes beyond gear. Everybody is. Whenever I've seen a guitar player, you've heard a song on the radio, you've heard a really dynamite guitar player, and you think, you know what? If I had that secret sauce pedal, or I had that secret sauce amp that they're using, that's going to make me sound like that. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not. If I try to play like Eddie Van Halen, I'm going to sound like Jason playing like Eddie Van Halen.
Right. Because it's going to be hard to play exactly like him.
I'll give you a good example. I was in Los Angeles, staying with a friend of mine, and he had some guests come over to the house. Well, one of the guests was a gentleman who was Eddie Van Halen's neighbor in Laurel Canyon. And I have a guitar in my hand, and I'm just doing some Van Halen style licks.
Right.
He goes, "That sounds like Eddie." I said, "No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It sounds like me playing Eddie, but there was only one Eddie, and there's only one Jason."
Right.
You know?
Right. So
it sounds like Eddie Van Halen. No, it doesn't.
And that's
but I appreciate it. You got to say thank you. Oh, well, thank you. In my mind, I'm like, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's close. It's a close facsimile. It'd be like the Rent-A-Center Eddie Van Halen. It's like it's close, but it's not there, man. But I appreciate the compliment. You don't say all that, but you're like, that sounds like Eddie Van Halen. I really appreciate that because that's what I was going for. In my mind, no, it sounds like me playing.
And I always tell Eddie that you know how they have the shows, right?
Yes.
And I told him that Michael Jordan, basketball player.
Yes, he does. Bulls.
Yeah. Once said that they asked him that why was he always so hard when he used to play, you know, when he used to play the games when he was still active, and he said that he would always give it his best because he knew that somebody in the crowd was there watching him play for the first time, and he didn't want them to take a bad image of him of just kind of whining and not playing right. So he would always give it his best, and that's why I told Eddie, whenever you're playing, you have to play your best. Enjoy it, enjoy it because I mean you're a young kid, you're very young, and you never know. I mean, you never know when somebody in the crowd is gonna be like, that guy is gonna be my next guitar player. You know, you never know.
Right.
You never know who's out there,
and you inspire everybody. I mean, I mean, that's an interaction. You have interaction with the crowd. I always wanted to be the guy to play to the back of the room.
Okay.
I wanted the person in the last. I want the person in the last seat to feel as important as the person up front.
Right.
You know, those people are you play. And I've never got to play big arenas, but I've gotten to play some big places. And
you want to shrink the room.
You want to shrink the room. You want to bring those people up front. You want to bring those, if not, physically you can't bring them up front, but definitely in their mindset, they're right there with you. So I went to, I was talking about how they're having the jumbotrons now. And I remember going to the Dallas Stadium, going to see University of Kentucky play in the Final Four. And they have two jumbotrons in Dallas Stadium.
Okay.
They have the one right above the floor, which is a massive jumbotron.
Right.
And then they have like the 88-yard jumbotron that spans the majority of what would be the football field. So of course, us getting tickets to the Final Four, I didn't get them down on the floor. We were in the nosebleeds. Mm-hmm. So we climb up, it's my brother and myself. We all go up to where we're supposed to be seated. And I look over and I'm like, gosh, I can see the Jumbotron. And then you look further down and I'm like, oh no, that's the big Jumbotron. The little Jumbotron's down here and the floor is way down. I mean, the people were that big. You saw was, people playing basketball, but you couldn't tell what they were doing.
They were like little ants.
Ants.
That's how high you were.
And it was in that big jumbotron. I watched that whole game. So I paid all that money to go to the NCAA Final Four, and I watched it on a jumbotron. I didn't know it was going to be that grandiose of a screen, but it was still an experience. It was still a cool experience because you're going to the Final Four is a bucket list item. I've never been to the Final Four before. Now,
so changing the subject a little bit, you told me that you're putting something together, something amazing.
I'm trying to put something amazing together,
and I know that you're a talented guy, and I know that whatever you're putting together is going to be available for who?
So I took off last year. Musically, I took all of last year, the majority part of the summer when I first started going back to teaching. I've been back teaching for over a year now, really refining my teaching techniques and my personal playing techniques. My playing's changed a lot over the last couple of years, just because you learn a lot of new stuff, But I actually wrote a couple screenplays.
Okay.
So one of them is very much about music, and we're working on getting that into production now. So it's about a musician, but I've been writing I've been writing all the music for it. So when you're asking all the music I was writing now, does it have lyrics? Is it this? Yeah. I'm just writing music. I'm trying to write it. I've been wanting to get back into doing movie scores and stuff like that. But we wrote a movie, and a lot of actors will write a movie so they can star in it. Well, actually, as a musician, I wrote a movie so I could write the music for it.
You do know that the movie studios are here in Fayetteville, right?
Yeah.
They're very close. They're like
very
25
close.
minutes away from here.
Very close.
So,
but I'm not doing it for them. This is an independent film. So we did I took a short story a friend of mine wrote, and I turned it into a screenplay. There's 3 writers on it. A guy I grew up with. We actually went to high school together. It's probably one of the few people I still remain in touch with from high school. I have a couple people very small knit community I grew up in. Another friend of mine, 3 of us were the writers on this project. Entered it into Atlanta Film Festival, did well. It didn't really fit their categories, but it did well. It got eliminated right before the quarterfinals of the screenplay film, at the Atlanta Film Festival this past year. I put some things together, presented to a couple companies, had a couple companies that want to make it. I wrote it for a friend of mine. That he still didn't know about it, so I won't say who it is. But I wrote it for a friend of mine, and I wanted to do the music for it. And that was the whole thing. And it's based, it starts off in 1975, and then it moves 20 years later into the early 2000s. So I'm sorry, early 90s. So therefore, from 75 to say 93, 94, 95-ish time, and then of course how the music changed in that time. But so I got to write a bunch of music that's very much like in the style of the 70s. And then you get to write a bunch of music that's very much in the style of the 90s. The Pearl Jam, Pearl Jam and Nirvana was rocking the airways. So that's what I've been working on for the last few months now.
That's very interesting. I mean, so is it like a score?
Yeah. So I want to do. It is a score. Of course, there's a bunch of original music going in it because there's in the screenplay, there's a couple bands in the screenplay, and they all have their own original music. So you have to have, suspension of disbelief. I have to write some songs that you believe that would be a hit in 1975.
Right.
And I also have to write a few songs that you'd believe would be a hit in 1993, in the Seattle grunge stuff. And then the rest of it is screenplay score, musical motifs, ideas, themes.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
I know.
You have to put a lot of ideas together. Like, how long has it taken you to do all this?
So the first part, I started out just writing the songs, the individual bands' songs, and we came up with a bunch of band names. The name of the band in the movie, the main one is Ebenezer. Ebenezer is the name of the band, and it's headed by the main character. His name is Eric Zahn, and he's doing, that's his main band. And then we have another band in there. It's a grunge band called Stone Golem, and we have all these weird bands in there. So, but those are the songs I tried to write first because those are the songs I understood musically what I wanted them to sound like. The Ebenezer band was going to sound more like your mid 70s Boston, Scorpions, Boston, those type of bands.
Right.
And then, of course, you knew that the 90s band was going to sound more rock, grungy, Pearl Jam, that type of rock. And then the part that's been the most challenging and talking about trying to learn new skills, actually just digging into my compositional skills, where I'm actually trying to write music themes that now you're getting into more doing stuff like classical composition, where you're doing stuff like classical music in a movie setting, and that's been very challenging because I have all these ideas, and just you can't use them all.
Right, but where does it start in a acoustic guitar?
The main bands, they started out as electric guitar, all the main band stuff, just because I had a good idea of what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Now, I had the idea for a lot of the progressions. They were classical. They were all classical progressions. Stuff like, who'd be a good, stuff like Deep Purple.
Okay.
Deep Purple has some really good classical progressions if you listen to some of their stuff, or early Scorpion stuff. Just very dissonant, very, very cool rock stuff.
Right.
The composition for the movie itself, all the music that's underneath the movie and the scenes and stuff like that, all that span from ideas of just trying to layer these classical music pieces. That's right. And I didn't have a clue on how I wanted to do it at first. I'd be like, okay, well, this would sound good as a toccata, or this would sound good as a fugue. So now I got to go back and how did Bach write a fugue? How did, who wrote a great toccata? Who wrote these different pieces? What was what are some of these Johann Sebastian Bach techniques that they're using? They all work in context to rock music too.
Now, how long has this taken you? Because the way you're telling me that you've been doing all this stuff, all this good stuff, it sounds like it's been going on for a while.
It has, and you're never happy with it. Like you criticize yourself, and you don't like it. Yeah, well, I mean, it gets to a point where you think it can be better. It can be better. It can be better. It can be better. And it went that way with the screenwriting. When we did the script, and we did the screenwriting, I went through a bunch of different variations, but I knew the basis of the story. I knew what I wanted the story to be. And my other two writers that I wrote with, they were like, we agree that's the way it should go. And then we wrote it. And once we got it written, then we started tinkering with it. Well, we need to change this little part here. This part didn't really work as well as I thought it would. But the basis of the story stayed the same.
Right.
The start, the beginning, and the end, your three act, it stayed the same. But as we got deeper into writing it, I'm like, okay, this musical theme would go well here. This would go well here. And that's kind of how it all started. Then you start hearing the music as the scenes developed.
Right. So it's been going on for how long?
That's back to the question. This has been going on for at least, the writing part of it, at least for the last 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very, very long time.
Yeah. Well, it also, we were waiting on, we've been waiting on this production company. We thought we had it going to be starting in July this year.
Right.
And it wasn't going to start. So I figured I could hold off a little bit on it as long as I had stuff, and I'm in the process. I need to build a new studio. So I love coming here and seeing all the little candy that you have here, because I'm like, I could use one of those in my studio. I can use one of those in my studio.
Yeah, it's like going to a candy store. I'm not going to lie. Honestly, the way you should have seen the way I started out, it was I will send you a picture. It's like a living room, basically with 2 doors and sound, baby crying, dog barking, cars passing outside. You couldn't do anything.
Yeah, my girlfriend does audiobooks. She's been doing audio books, and she was like, "Oh, I need to go and edit because there's a car that drove by and stuff like that." So yeah, I can totally understand that. It's not.
Yeah, and audiobooks I love audiobooks. Me, I'm a big fan of buying the book, the hardcover or paper cover, whatever, and getting the audiobook from the same book, and then I listen to the book and I just follow through.
Oh, nice!
I love that. I don't know why, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit lazy on reading. I don't know, but I like hearing it. seeing it and then just taking notes on the book.
Would you say you retain more information if you hear it rather than read it?
I think so. Okay. I think I'm the type of guy that I have to hear it, I have to see it, and I combine both together, and that's how I make it work. Because doing video, I've been doing video and audio for a very long time.
I'm gonna give your subscribers a little bit of homework.
Let's see.
Let's do it. Okay.
Let's do it.
This is gonna test your audio sensory stuff and how well you retain information. What I want you to do is I want you to listen to the radio. I want you to put one of your favorite songs on the radio, and when you put your favorite song on the radio, I want you to play it in your head along, and then as it's playing in your head along with the radio, I want you to turn the radio volume all the way down.
All the way down.
All the way down. But you're continuing to play it in your head, right? And then after a little while, just, after about, 20 seconds or so, start bringing that volume back up and see if you're in the same place you were when you turned the volume down.
Now, does this have to be a song that we already know or something that it's new to us?
No, it's just I'll start off with a song you know really well, just start off with a nice song that you know, and then as it's playing, let it get into the first little bit of it, and turn it down, and then turn it back up, and see if you're in the same place. Okay, this is also with rhythm too. So if it's a song you don't know, start snapping your fingers to it, turn it all the way down.
Sometimes I hear Eddie doing that.
And then turn it back up. Yeah, I try to get all my students to do that. Yeah. But it lets you know how well you know a tune. I just had to learn a bunch of tunes for a possible band I'll be playing with. Mm-hmm. I can't give much information on that. It's still kind of under wraps.
It's okay.
But they're going to be, moving around the Southeast quite a bit.
Oh, nice.
But I had to learn all these songs I didn't know. There were two songs that I know, but the other ones I didn't know at all. So I started out listening to it and getting the tempo down, and then started snapping my fingers. And this is just one of the exercises I will do. And then, of course, as a guitar player, if you can do that and have a friend turn down the radio while you're playing along with it, and then turn the radio back up and see if you're in the same section. And if you're not, you have to work on your timing. But that also means that if you're humming along with it or you're singing along with it, and you're that means you have really good audio memory. Mm-hmm. You memorize it. Not too fast of a tempo. Because that's seems to be an issue with some musicians, but not very many people do these type of things. But it just give you a good idea of where you are in your audio memory. I
sometimes when I'm doing something and Eddie comes by, and then he's like, what are you doing? And it's a metronome.
Yeah.
That's how you call it, right?
Yeah, metronome? Yeah.
He always plays with that. I when he's learning something new.
Yeah.
I could hear it going click, 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 click. Doesn't that bother you? No, it keeps me in.
It keeps you in time. I still have speaking of, it was kind of off subject. My grandmother's 94, I think. My grandmother she turned 93 or 94 in October. And last time I was at her house, she gave me her metronome.
Oh,
and you don't see those. I mean, it's the pyramid looking thing, and you take the little thing.
Little thing in the middle.
Yeah, the little thing in the middle, and of course it has has all the markings on it, Allegro, and all this stuff. The type of everything's in Latin, and
do you use it? Do you still have it?
I still use it, but I don't really use that one. You can get click track that are. Well, I like the emphasis on the one. So if you listen to a click track, you can have it'll go right, or it will really loudly play the one it'll be a very emphasis on the first beat.
Right.
So and that little. It doesn't do that. It doesn't have an emphasis on the one. It's just wherever you are, that's where you are. You You might wherever you decide to start is going to be the one.
Yeah.
So
and again, that's another thing that me personally I've never used the metronome. I know that Eddie uses it all the time.
yeah.
And you as a musician and all of you as real musicians, not like me, know how to use it or how to follow it.
How to follow it.
I don't even have a clue how that works.
Well, it's just like a drum. If you think like,
right,
still the metronome, the one is going to be probably your kick drum. I don't play drums. That's one thing. I know how to keep a beat, but I don't play drums. I'm not a drummer. Not even close.
Not at all.
No, I program drums, or I'll have someone play drums.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a video out there. I don't know if you've seen that video. I got to show it to you. Where Eddie, he has his guitar, and he's kicking and playing the drums at the same time. He's like, and you could hear, you could follow through like, holy.
Eddie Van Halen?
No,
Eddie. You're Eddie. You're Eddie.
Eddie.
Yeah.
This Eddie.
Shreddy.
How Rocco's dad calls him.
Yeah.
He could do that. And like, how do you do that? I mean, how can you do that? Then someone says, I come over here and we play jazz, whatever. And then we're doing good playing. He's playing the guitar, I'm playing drums or whatever. And then suddenly his phone rings and like, okay, Dad, you can leave now. What?
All right, can't do that. You know.
Teenagers.
Yeah, no.
They only use you. Oh man, it's so funny.
Got the keys to the car, Dad?
He's getting there.
Yeah,
he's getting there. He's getting there. So it's just we could go forever and keep talking about music forever, and I'm just very, very happy that you were able to take the time of your busy schedule to come over here.
I appreciate you having me. I'm
there's so many topics.
Not used to talking all the time though. So
look, there's so many topics that we could talk about, and all I wanted to do today is open up the idea, the topic of you coming in here and talking to me about talking about music and little things of stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that eventually you're gonna have Edgar. I want to talk about this solely this because I got a big, huge range of ideas and stuff, and that's fair because there's a lot of kids out there that want to be musicians that they're not patient to be musicians because they want to do it so fast. They want to become the greatest guitarist so quick. But I just want them to understand that be patient, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Patience and consistency.
Patience and consistency for all these young kids, even adults. Because I don't know if I started to play guitar at one point. Eddie still has one of my guitars from 2004. Two guitars from 2004. And he still plays them to this day. They're downstairs. I played a few chords, but nothing like you or Eddie.
I think everyone should play an instrument. I think even if you just bang around on it, I think everyone should play an instrument. And I think everyone should play an instrument, and everyone should have to work in the service industry a little bit. It'll make you appreciate other things in life. It really will. I mean, but the instrument part of it, and you talk about patience, consistency. It's habit. It's habit forming. I mean, It's just no different than, think about anything you have to do to get good at anything. I'm using a new system at work. Well, if you use this new system at work and you use it every day, you wind up getting good at it. It's no different. It's no different than when you had to learn how to use a graphing calculator growing up. The manual was as thick as the calculator, and I still had to learn how to use it.
Right. And it changed so much over the years.
I just still don't know what the cos and tan button were on the calculator. I mean, just. But I'm just saying,
I didn't go that far.
My thing is, anything you want to get good at, you got to be patient. You got to be consistent with it, and you got to understand that. Think of the most easy thing that you do that's effortless for you to do today, that you weren't able to do when you first started? Tying your shoe. How many times you say the little thing, the bunny rabbit, whatever your motif was for tying your shoe. Those are the things that you go through a lot, when you learn how to play a musical instrument, or the first time you ever had to tie a tie. Well, do this and go over and go under and around and this. I mean, I know I messed that up several times.
I can't do it. I can't tie my tie looking at myself in the mirror. I can't. I mess up. If I look at myself in the mirror, I mess up. I have to kind of do it over here, and then after it's tied, and then I look at myself in the mirror.
Then you straighten it up. I like bow ties. I used to wear a lot of bow ties.
Yeah.
You have to get one link longer than the other one, over and under, and you get this one flap over here, and you take this one, you make a little fish, and then But yeah, it was one of those things where it took me. I wanted to wear a bow tie. I got invited to a black tie event. I'm like, everyone's going to be wearing clip-on bow ties. I'm going to learn how to tie a bow tie. Right. So I sat down and I got a pocket square. It was a pocket square that went with the tuxedo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fold a pocket square to make it look
neat and nice.
Yeah, neat and
elegant.
nice. And of course, everybody's gonna look at you and they'll say, "Oh, you tied your own bow tie."
Yeah, just by looking at that.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, and it makes you feel good too. I'm gonna, to close up the podcast, I'm gonna ask you a few easy questions, and you're gonna respond only with one word.
Okay.
One word. Your hero.
It has to be 2 words.
Go ahead.
It has to be 2 words. My heroes, mom and dad.
Okay.
Mom and dad were my heroes. I mean, they still are. I mean, they'll be down here next week. I can't wait to see them.
Nice. Inspiration.
Struggle. Yeah. Struggle provides great inspiration.
Motivation.
The mirror. You have to look at yourself and be motivated. If you're looking for motivation anywhere else, it has to come from you. You have to decide to do it every day.
And where do you see yourself 2 years from now?
I want to see myself making great music and providing good stories. I want to see myself doing what I love to do. Making a nice living, doing exactly what I want to do.
Okay.
That's what I've always wanted. And that's every year. Every year you wish that. It's like, I want to take what I do and what I love to do, and I want to make a living doing that. You didn't say millionaire. You didn't say rock star.
Right.
You just said make a living.
Make a living.
There's a difference.
Yeah. Everything else comes by itself.
Yeah, I mean,
everything. You start somewhere. You do something.
And when I say make a living, I mean I continue. I mean, I've been doing this for a little while. I've made my living doing this for a little while, but that's what I want to continue to do.
Right.
I just want to continue to progress and get better as a musician, as a human being, and and just do right by people and do right by myself.
Right. And final question. Your final thought and advice for every musician out there.
Play. You got to play. I mean, that's and don't play because you have to. Play because you want to. Play because you love to. And if it's not the one thing that you found, maybe it's not guitar. Go through them all. If you wind up with a bassoon, no one's going to judge you for that. Just play.
Right. And a last question: are you going to be back in this podcast?
Yes,
he will be back. We'll bring him back.
If you would love to have me back, I'd love to be back. So.
We gotta bring him back.
I'll play some.
We gotta bring him back. We gotta bring you back, and hopefully when we bring him back, he's gonna have a lot more stories to tell us, especially with all this new projects that you have in line, and hopefully you can share all that information with us and have more plans in the pipeline. So
and Jason Furr, you can Google it.
Jason Furr,
Furr.
that's him, the greatest guitarist player.
Not even. But thank you.
I've seen him play. He's very, very good.
You're very nice. Very
well, Jason,
it's always a pleasure.
It was a pleasure to have you here, and
thank you guys.
Thank you.